Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an amazing new episode of CLX Founder Live, where we jump deep inside somebody's live build and then we assemble it from the ground up right before your eyes. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and joining me right now from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi. Hello.
So, I have questions. Well, actually, I don't have questions. Well, I can't really see it here, but we're going to talk about it because I'm going to have them show the graphic. Guess what? We've got two giveaways, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to the end of those giveaways. So you just want to make sure you're paying attention. We've got two. Now, exclamation giveaway in the chat will get you an option for the top one, which is this PC right there. Notice I put in the right direction finally. This is our PC with our friends over at AMD and Fantex. It is an incredible PC, and that's going to be going out here fairly soon. And then, well, by soon I mean like within the next 2 weeks. And then we've got our our Intel Gamer Days CLX PC, which looks freaking awesome. I love this thing. Intel Fantex Windows 11, incredible machine. I'm excited because I kind of want it. Now, unfortunately, I can't win it. Sad panda. With that being said, by heading to both of those links, you can find out all the different things that you need to do in order to qualify to enter. And then you're going to find out about the codes. I'm sure most of you are already here for the codes, but in case you're not, let me explain to you how that works. There are different codes that you can find in our streams, on our socials, and in various other places. Let me go through that with you. On Tuesdays, like today, we're going to be dropping codes over on our Kick stream. That's kick.com/CLX Gaming. On Thursdays, we drop codes over on the Twitch side. That's twitch.tv/CLX Gaming TV. You can also find codes in our social media. That is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. And that's all at CLX Gaming. You may even be able to find things in our Discord. That's discord.gg/CLX Gaming. You can also find codes on my streams, which should be self-evident. Now, with that being said, pay attention because the codes be coming out. So welcome in everybody. And don't forget, if you have questions about anything the gentlemen say, please ask. Now, we've got a project, and I have to say it in the other words, and I didn't remember the state, but we're making a PC for Elliot. Elliot. I just remember E.T., and that's all I can think of is Elliot. Where is it?
Minnesota, up north.
Minnesota. Hey, so what are we putting in this? Well, I recognize this case. Looks like.
All right, so going inside of this, Elliot's configured a RAW for our website. So starting out with our processor, we've got an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X. To cool that, we've got a Fantex D30 AIO in black. Excited to have one of those. It's a really good cooler. I like the fans on it as well. For our motherboard, we've got an MSI Mag X670E Tomahawk Wi-Fi, and for our memory, we have 2 sticks of XPG 16GB DDR5 6000 speed in black. Gigs of RAM in the system. For our storage, we have a couple options. So our main drive is going to be a 2TB Samsung 990 EVO. That's an NVMe M.2 drive, and then as a secondary storage option, we've got a 4TB Seagate Barracuda hard disk drive. For our video card, we've got a Founders Edition RTX 4070 Super. That's what's in this giant brown box here. It's always fun to open up. And for our case, we obviously have the O11 Dynamic XL in silver, which is kind of rare to see, so glad to have one of these on the show. For our case fans, we've got 10 of our Game DS ALS M2s in white with RGB. And for our power supply, we've got a 1000 watt EVGA GT 80 Plus Gold. This is fully modular, and we do have a black and white cable kit going with it as well.
Nice. That sounds like a fun plan. Let's do it. Now, this is one of the cases that I absolutely love. This is much like my case, except for my case is the white version. And this is the silver version, which has got black internals on it, which is fantastic. Here we are. Now, this comes with some really cool features. We haven't done one of these in a little bit, but this is so popular last year. So, Paul, why don't you walk through some of the unique elements of this, because this has got some stuff that I freaking love.
Sure. So some general just design elements with the O11 is going to be our main intakes here at the bottom. We have all these glass panels to have a really nice looking inside. So air will come in from the bottom. This is going to have 10 fans, so we're going to have air coming in from the side, leaving the top and back here. So, but probably the most unique thing about this case is the extra hard drive bays in the back here. You can kind of see them right where my hand is through the front. So these have SATA data and power cables pre-ran, so that all we have to do is pull the tray out of the back right here, which we'll show you in a little bit when we get to it, slide it in, and it will automatically connect, so we don't have to run any SATA data cables or anything like that. Now, we always plug in both bays, even if the system's not getting one, just in case if you order this as a customer and you've got a hard drive you want to throw in, you can just slap it in and not run any cables.
There we go. Now, we do have a couple things I want to say because we've got so many people in the chats. Yes, hello, everybody, and welcome in over on the green side. I want to say John Garrow. It's silver for werewolves, right? Yes, technically this will keep werewolves away from your PC. You don't ever have to worry about it. Yes, or maybe that's vampires. Figure it's silver and it's fun. Let's take a look over at the purple side. And hello, everybody. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. No, we've not dropped a code yet, but on the red side's going. We've got down on the Twitter, we've got Bad Mash Vesul Live. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Rick Herb on the Facebook end. Hello, Stephen Rodriguez, and it's Maribelian I just ordered my PC last night. I'm so excited. We're so excited. That's awesome.
Nice.
I love it. Congratulations. Heck yeah. Now, while we're sitting here with this brand new, take a look at it. This, of course, is our Mac 670E Tomahawk Wi-Fi board, and it's got some good activity options. Let's take a look first. Start at the top. We've got our HDMI display port, which is great. Dual options there. Then of course, you have down below there your USB 3.2. Now that is a 3.2 Gen 2. There's a Type C and there's a Type A. You've got four 3.2 Gen 1s. No, I'm sorry, Gen 2s that are the 4 blues. And then down below there, you've got another 10 gig Type A. And then you've got your 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. And that means you got 10 gigs up, 10 gigs down, and it's fantastic. Love it. You've got your Wi-Fi elements down below there, plus your 2.5 gig LAN port and all your audio. And that's your motherboard. Mina, welcome in. I like how shiny the case is. I love how shiny the case is. So this is a great board. I mean, this is MSI here. So now, of course, to make our system function, we've got to put a CPU in it, and that is going to be an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X. Now, Paul, what do you know about this processor? How powerful is this in the whole scheme of things when it comes to AMD?
This processor is very powerful. We're at the top of the line right here. So it's a 16-core, 32-thread processor. It's got a base speed of 4.5, and it will boost all the way up to 5.7.
Nice. That's pretty darn powerful. I'm going to pop that in there. It's real easy. Zach, when you're putting one of those in, what are the things you want to take a look at to make sure you've got it facing the right way?
Yes, on the processor chip itself, there will be a key, and that key is going to be a little triangle. And then there's also going to be another key silk screened onto our motherboard. We just want to line those up to make sure that those are matching.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. Now, up next, we're going to be doing what?
We are going through our hardware right now because we are going to get our AIO installed next. So this is a pretty good demonstration for when we talk about AIOs. Mm-hmm.
You mean our Fantex Glacier 1 360 D30?
That's right.
Okay, well, some people in this chat may have heard this term before, but some might not have. So why don't you explain to people what an AIO is and how it differs from other ways to cool a CPU?
Sure. So an AIO stands for all-in-one. We're referring to this liquid cooler right here. So you can see we're getting this out of the box right now. There's already coolant inside of here. We won't need to add any. Well, you can see all the hardware that we were going through. So when you get your AIO, it's going to have 4 to 5 different sets of hardware in there for all the different motherboard socket types. And so you just want to grab the right set that matches your motherboard, which is what we just did. And then after you get that, it's pretty straightforward. So you'll see it come together pretty quickly right now. We are taking off these clips that come on the board. Most AMD boards will have these clips on there. Typically they're used for an air cooler. So we're taking those off and leaving the back plate that comes on their stock because we'll use that to mount our pump.
Oh, cool. I did have somebody ask a good question over here on the green side. Ask, what's the best place to hold when you're building a PC, where is the best place to hold your motherboard?
So we like to, if you're talking about like before you get it inside the case, we like to do everything outside the case or as much as we can because we have all this extra room to work with. As soon as you put that motherboard in the case, your space becomes a little more limited, even if you have a large case. So that's why we do it this way. You always want to have it on, like a non-conductive surface. We have this anti-static mat that we build on, so we're just protected in pretty much every situation. But if you don't have like an anti-static mat or something fancy at home, just like a wooden countertop or something like that is fine.
There you go. Nice. Why haven't we gotten a hidden code from Zach lately, says the Dirty Yankee?
You got one last week, guys.
Yeah, maybe because you're blind.
Last week.
You gotta find it.
There we go.
We had a sponsored break.
Tequila.
And yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the sponsored break.
Alrighty.
So you can see how quickly when we had the hardware ready and everything prepped, I mean, the AIO's installed. We just gotta plug in the cables. We'll typically put the fans on the radiator outside of the case as well, but I mean, the hard part's over with. So.
Nice. All right, now we'll get that on there. How many other ways are there to cool a CPU?
you've got two different ways to cool your CPUs. You can go air or liquid. So air cooling is fine and great if you don't want to have liquid inside your PC. If you are going to go with air cooling and you're using your PC to game, I would probably go with some sort of aftermarket air solution. There's a bunch of different brands out there you can go with that have great ones. But for liquid cooling, you can go this AIO route that we're going right now, or you can go with a custom loop. So that has hard or soft tubes. We do offer that here. Those are a lot more labor intensive, require tube bending and all that good stuff. So I always go with an AIO in my personal system. They're just so easy to install, and the cooling they provide is great. So
Chupa Thingy asks, is there a limited number of codes, or are they good for like a day? These are, anybody can use them. They're worth a certain amount of entries. So we've got like 3 different tiers. I know of 3 different tiers: 50s, 100s, and 200s. And you'll be able to take a look at which goes where based on each of these giveaways. So yes. All right. Now, with our radiator sitting there, we've got this really great cap on the top, got our power in there, and it's all lined up. So now we're going to be dealing with our fans, and it's the beginning of the fans. So for our fans, it looks like Elliot chose Gamedeus Aeolus M2s in white. So these are great because these are similar to, these are just the inverted version of the black ones.
that's right. These M2 fans, if you really like RGB and you like all the lights, the M2 fans are a great way to go, whether you go with black or white. The blades light up and there's a ring around them. If you're not huge into the RGB, the M3s are a good option. They'll still give you some color, but it's a lot more subtle.
Yeah. Yep. And there's only 8 days left, by the way, in our monthly giveaway for the AMD build, and for the Intel build, there's 12 days left.
Coming
So
quickly.
we're getting down to the wire. Getting down to the wire. All right. I see you laying things out over there, Paul.
Oh yeah, I'm being a good sous chef.
There you go. Zach, what are some things to consider when you're attaching your fans to your radiator?
Yeah, so ideally we want to know our layout of where our radiator is going to sit inside our case, whether that be on the roof or on the front of the case. And I'm saying front with some quotation marks, much like the new fashion is with this 11 that we will be working on. The front is kind of the back side, rear.
Mm-hmm.
It's on
the
one
front
part.
is almost the windowed side now. It's hard because you have a rear and a back, and usually those are different.
So we just want to know where we want to have our radiator set at, so we know where we want our fans mounted. Sometimes we can do what we're doing here and have our fans pre-mounted before we install it into the case, and that will allow lots of movement of motion for us to get everything done and tied up. Other times we are using the case in between our fans and radiators, so it might be just a little bit different each build.
I did a quick question coming in from No Crosshair Boy. How many fan headers are on this motherboard? Good question.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 fan headers on the board, and we're only using one of them.
Yep.
Because these fans have a controller, so we are going to be plugging them into the controller. They get powered via SATA. So the only fan header on the board we're using is for that AIO pump.
Nice.
This is a great motherboard because we have two Type C's, one Type C and 2 Type 3s. So
I like that there's 2 3.0s on there, yeah.
And then 2 normal USBs. So lots of headers on this motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, up next, we've got our RAM, our memory. This is going to be 2 16-gig sticks of ADATA DDR5 6000 in black with some RGBs. We're going to plug those right into slot 2 and 4 because 1 and 3 would be wrong. What happens if you do just plug them into 1 and 3?
So you might still get video and it could work, but your RAM's not going to perform that well. Now, I was just troubleshooting a system last week, and the person had it installed in 1 and 3, and I wasn't getting any video at all. When I changed it up, I did get video. RAM can be really finicky, so you definitely want to use slots 2 and 4 if that's what your board, tells you to do. If you got any questions, just consult your motherboard manual. It's online if you don't have the paper version, so you just want to follow that. So.
To answer your question, Residence XP over on the TikTok side. What's up, dog? What build is this? This is a build for our friend Elliot in Minnesota. Now, one thing we've got in his right hand is a heat sink that attaches to the motherboard, and in the left hand is our 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro M.2. Now, that little thing is actually 2 terabytes of storage data, and it's incredible. But then we've got this thing in your hand. Zach, what's the purpose of that thing in your right hand?
So this distributes all of the heat that our storage device can possibly create.
Cloudift says, "Hey guys, I'm from Asia. Is it possible to get a PC from you guys? I've been watching lately and love all the builds." That is a corporate question. I think that just depends on where you are. But if you hit customer service up, I'm sure they can definitely answer that question for you. All right, now we've got that secured down there. Up next. Actually, while we're getting to the up next part, we're putting it into the case. Let's talk about this case a little bit, because we're going to see some interesting things on the back of this case that need explaining. So this is what we call, like, see where Paul's left hand is right now? You can just flip that. Yeah, that spot right there is where, or does it sit back the case? It's actually what we. So there is. There is. There we go. Hopefully that's better. There's 2 different compartments behind there, and a blank space. Paul, explain what all those are.
So these compartments right here that I just took the door off, these are the hot swappable storage bays. So we do have a traditional 3.5-inch hard disk drive here. That's going to get installed in here, but like I mentioned at the beginning, what's special about this case is there's SATA ports inside of here that this is going to automatically just plug into when we slide it in. So very nice, probably my favorite thing about this case, honestly.
Nice. Right. Now, background, that means the board is going to be sitting right there.
Yeah.
You can see the black grommets in there, which are great. I love those. I think those are fantastic. So, Zach, when you're putting a motherboard in, what are some things to keep in mind and pay attention to?
Yes, so we want to make sure that we have our standoffs in our proper holes. I call it a big old star constellation, because I work with servers, and server motherboards have quite a few different standoff holes compared to our basic ATX or MATX or ITX motherboards. All those will be different sizes. We just want to have all of these little holes here have a standoff behind it. Some motherboards like ASRock does come with what I call the 7th or 10th hole, and they add another standoff right here. We want to make sure that we populate those. And then also with that, we want to go into the reverse. Some of the big, heavy end, high Super Duty motherboards that some of the manufacturers produce have these really nice heat shields on the back of the motherboard, and those might cover up some of our holes. We want to make sure that we remove those standoffs so that we don't have any connection spots where we don't need them to be connected to.
There we go. Nice. Good explanation. All right, getting that all mounted in. And let's see, what is our next element we want to talk about there?
Let's see, Chupa thingy is a controller better than the headers. So I would, as far as performance goes, better. It's just going to be one. I wouldn't say better, it's just the way they're controlled. So if you want all these RGB fans synced up, it's going to be a lot easier to build the system, having them all plug into a controller, and then they're just controlled with a remote, which is really nice. So it's probably better in that aspect, but as far as like pushing air through, they're going to be the same. why we start seeing these controllers for these fans is just because we'll have so many, like this we have 10 fans in this build. So all those are going to go into one controller. Now, since we're using a Game DS controller, this kind of leads into John Garrow's question. These Game DS controllers only can have 8 fans on them. However, you can daisy chain 2 of them together and sync them all up. That way they're fine. So that's what we're going to be doing in this. We'll have 8 fans on one controller and 2 on the other with them daisied together. Now, not all RGB fans can do that, but a lot of them can. So if you, like you said, if you've got 6 fans and you need more than that, you can typically daisy chain the controllers together.
Speaking of daisy chaining, I'll tell you what, Ivory just daisy chained himself a code together, and that's a set code, SET-RTYP. That is Sierra Echo Tango Romeo Tango Yellow Papa, or Yankee Papa, depending on which service you're in. Here we go. Let's see. I'm getting that all put in there. Now, you just put the drive in?
Yep, so that's our hard drive going in, just 4 screws, screwing it into the tray, and then I'm just waiting to hear that click for it to go into the SATA ports.
And that drive is, of course, a 4 terabyte, 3.5-inch Seagate Barracuda, which is extraordinary. Really good drive. I've had one for a while. Let's see here. Over on the TikTok side, what CPU would you recommend for running sneaker bots? What the heck is a sneaker bot?
I think people trying to get those drops in, trying to grab all the Jordans or whatever. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I think of when you say that.
Oh no, not your average NPC. It says I bought a new pre-built from Power, and I've had it for less than a week, and it's got the blue screen of death. I had to spend 12 hours reinstalling Windows with it not installed via Wi-Fi drivers. Wow, that sucks.
Big oof.
Yeah.
I'm going to start getting this video card out of the box because this box is massive, as you can see right here. I had to double check our sales order because I was like, I thought this was 4070 Super, and it is. I didn't know the 4070 Super were coming in the giant packaging. So
I think it's because they went to the Supers.
That must be right. So best part about opening this, see this little pull tab right here? This is going to go all the way around the box. It's the funnest part.
Okay, and then what?
This is an FE then.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't tell you, because the cameras don't have smell sensors on them, is it smells like coffee when you open it up.
Really?
No, I wish. That'd be great. I could use a
dang it.
I could use a little pick me up right now.
What? That would be nice. We got a Dunkin' across the street. Run over there.
We go.
Look at this thing, man. Look at this box.
That is a big box. Let's see. No cross dollar boy. What kind of music do I DJ? I do a lot of different styles and kinds. Right, there we go. My residency in Portland, actually, I do a lot of beach house, tropical house, and just house music in general. On one side or the other side, it is everything like a wide variety of EDM, drum and bass, dubstep. Yeah, you name it, I pretty much do it. The only thing I really don't do is like top 40. I primarily I was raised in the UK environment of DJing, so that's usually my playlist.
If you ask him, he will play Tron.
Technically, yes.
Oh yeah.
Drum and bass, boy. Yeah, that was when we went to go pick up the dogs. We had a 52-hour trip.
What?
To get all the way over to the far side of Wyoming and back. Driving, picked up the puppies, and that I had made like a 6-hour drum and bass set, and that was what I drove to. Fantastic. All right, let's take a look at this amazing box.
Ready for the epic.
Pinky focus.
We're just giving you a drum roll. We're just teasing you.
Right there it is. But do you play Elden Ring? I do not.
He should.
Petition for DJ to play Elden Ring.
Get a petition. Ooh, this is like a cute little 4080 Super. It's a little smaller.
Oh man,
I like
so
it.
We don't need that.
Maybe we don't.
We don't need that. Cool.
giant box.
How light is that?
Yeah,
It's got some weight to it, but it's definitely not heavy. It's probably a little bit heavier than you would think by looking at it, but I mean, I wouldn't call it heavy for sure.
all that power.
Nice.
Itty bitty living space.
Yeah, we were just watching that last night. Trying to get the kids into the old Disney movies, but they can't sit still long enough.
We're not looking at TikTok chat. We are looking at TikTok chat. Just takes a second. Get all the way over there. Hi, Jesse. How's it going?
Oh, there we go.
Josh Denham has a question about if you want to add more RAM, what's the steps for it?
RAM is very easy to add. Now, the thing that you want to make sure of, if you, let's say you're like this customer, you've got 2 sticks of memory and 4 slots. If you want to upgrade, stick with the same brand and speed memory, please. It'll make your life way easier. But if you've got the RAM, you just need to install it. We actually are working on some good videos for that. However, RAM is one of the easiest components to install. So you just unlock the clips, make sure that the little keyed section on the RAM stick lines up with the keyed section on the motherboard RAM slot, and then you just push down and you'll hear some satisfying clicks.
All right.
We'll have a nice in-depth videos very, very soon.
Awesome.
On our YouTube. Man, I was expecting a much bigger card.
Right? I'm impressed. By the way, the set code, for anybody who's wondering, is for the August AMD build giveaway. It's worth 100 extra entries.
But DJ, how many does it take?
It only takes 1.
So you're saying you have 99 that you don't need?
No, I mean the more the merrier.
Yeah. So just come hang out.
Mr. Matt says paw paw paw. Go paw paw paw.
Hey, Mr. Matt. I haven't talked to Mr. Matt in a long time. Hope you're doing well, Matt. Good to see you in the chat. Hope life's treating you really well. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Matt's an OG.
Nice. Nice.
I love this motherboard, by the way, just so you know.
Okay, so right now we've got all of our main case cables going in. So what is the difference between those and what you connect to the power supply?
So with the case cables, what they do is all of our USB ports, power button, reset button light, all this stuff you see right here, those are our case cables. So power button, USB 3.0, we've even got a couple down here at the bottom that are easily missed, Type-C, and all that stuff gets plugged in. So that's all gonna go to our motherboard. Typically, we get those cables ran before we start installing all the extra fans and power supply, just so that those cables are managed and we don't have to worry about them for the rest of the build.
Nice. There we go. Okay. We get these cables up and out. Uh-oh. What you doing there, Zach?
Getting some of our case cables managed. There's 2 different segments. There's a lower half and a top half on this case. So just like normal, how I like keeping everything separated, makes it easier to maintain. It just helps to just do one thing at a time and then go on to the next.
There he goes. There he goes. Okay. On the front of the case, we're going to have Paul talk about that for just a quick second. Paul, can you point out what all those things are on the front of the case?
Sure. So just starting at the top here, we've got our power button right here, reset button, USB 3.0, 3.0, headset mic port, then a Type-C. And then these are some lighting buttons. One will be for the mode, one will be for the color. And then down here at the bottom, you've got 2 more 3.0s. So 5 USB ports on the front panel. Quite a bit, pretty nice. One of them being a Type-C.
And for those of you who may have missed the code that Ivory did give out, once again, that is DAYS, DAYS, F4D4. Now that DAYS code is worth 100 entries as well, which I'm super excited for. Nice. All right, we're getting this all tied up. DAYS 44. Foxtrot 4 Delta 4. Boop. What was it? What was what? It's a code. So Cloud Diff asks, is 32 gigs of DDR4 better than 16 gigs of DDR5?
That's a good question. I would probably go with the 32 gigs of DDR4. That being said, it depends on the speeds. If you've got like 3600 DDR4, and what would the math on that be? We're not quite there yet on DDR5. So yeah, technically that would be better on speeds. But let's say you had 32 gigs of DDR4 at 3000 speed and then 16 gigs of DDR5 at 6000 speed, then I'd go with the DDR5. Because it's twice as fast, It's going to perform just as good, if not better. DDR5 is obviously the new stuff, so if you're buying a new PC, not a bad idea to go with it. That being said, DDR4 is not bad by any means.
Okay. One thing you can see here, which is actually really highlighted by the frame, is silver feet on the front and the back. As you can see, there's a vent down below, just like on mine. When it comes to making sure that you've got enough room for ventilation, what are some good rules to run with?
The biggest thing is between the bottom of the feet, which I'm talking about, the part that's touching the table right now, and the bottom of the chassis, which is slightly above that. You want to keep that gap as clear as possible. Anything that's there blocking airflow is just going to reduce your airflow throughout the whole case. So you just want to keep that as clear as you can. Shouldn't be too hard.
Okay. And now, I think it's going to be interesting because we've got a lot of darker elements, but we have some bright whites as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It's really dark interior, black cooler, black motherboard. I really like the choice of the white fans. It's going to really make everything shine. And those white fans are just going to stand out.
Arbus Cantina, evening from the UK. Hello, welcome.
Hello, hello.
And over on the TikTok side, Tapwater Steve says, what are your thoughts on Antec C8 case?
I've never built that case or seen it, so I don't really have any thoughts on it. I know Antec, we used to use a lot of their power supplies actually. They were a quality brand back when I was using them. Haven't used anything of theirs in a while, so can't speak to that, but they were always really solid. They had these like green power supplies that would like a chunk of the money you spent would go back to the environment, which I thought was really cool.
Here we are.
John Garrow's gifting you 3 cups of coffee, Zach.
Yeah! My stamina went up by 2.
Yeah.
Here we go. There it is.
Don't worry, guys. I just refer everything back to Oregon Trail now.
There you go.
It's like driving from Wichita to Eureka Springs, going over every bridge. I was like, yeah, we'd have to caulk the raft on that one. That one's pretty deep. Oh, we might be able to ford that one. I need some coffee, babe. I need 2 more staminas in me. I'm getting pretty tuckered.
Yeah, gotta get hyped up for this river crossing.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't know. I got the dysenteries. We need to stop.
Yours, the enjoyer says.
I hate it when I
every
get
time.
dysenteries.
No fear. Is fording where you just float it?
No, fording is where you keep the wheels on the wagon and you go across it. Caulking removes the wheels and then you like line it with pelts. But there's a trick to it because like you can't caulk when it's too shallow.
Oh, okay.
You need to have the wheels on. So like it's.
I felt like, and this is the OG one, it was always like the animation would be just the wagon going across, but then there was also like, you could do like the little raft around the wagon.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was like ferrying or
That,
what.
yes, the ferries.
Was that that?
There are some ferries at some locations, not all of them.
Hey, we're all adults here, guys.
Oh, God. You guys are killing me right now. You're killing me. I am trying to host a show here. Oh my God. I want points for social graces and holding it together without saying anything completely awful. Even though I know that everybody in that chat is thinking the same thing.
Y'all need to play some education video games.
Dear Lord.
That's all it is.
Dear Lord.
You're just learning.
I've got Jason over here going. Here.
Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire.
Just
Hold.
Geneva Convention.
Got it.
Geneva Convention.
He could see the smile starting, and I was trying to not make it obvious. Oh my lips. Okay, so Tapwater Steve says, any tips on getting an RTX Titan for my used parts PC?
I don't have any tips on that. eBay is probably going to be your best bet, but that's pretty sketchy sometimes. Why are you going with the Titan? Just for the novelty? Like, I think the Titans are sick. We used to have builds that were dual Titans, and those were nuts.
Those were.
I love that they existed,
crazy
but they were always just so overkill. So if you just want to get it for the novelty, I understand that, but make sure wherever you buy it from, since you're probably going to have to go with a site like eBay or something from similar to that. Make sure they got a good return policy, all that good stuff. Those are not going to be cheap. It'd be cool if NVIDIA did a Titan again, if they started releasing those alongside, but Jesus, it'd probably be like $8,000.
Oh my God, we got Stencil 32 on the purple side with a gift sub. Hype! Let's go.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much for the gift subs, my friend. That is awesome. Appreciate the support. That is grand.
Yeah, we really
absolutely great.
Welcome all the new subs.
Yes.
It's because of the excellent topics of conversation that we have.
True.
Yes, our manners.
Learning what forwarding is.
And it is September, by the way. So this is a big thing to remember, everybody, because between now and the end of the month, you can save a lot of money by getting subs to your favorite content creators, including me, for a big discount. I know that in my community, people are buying in bulk because if they can pay less for like a 3 or 6 month subscription, that is a lot of money saved. So just make sure to keep that in mind when you see your favorite content creator, drop a holler, say hello, maybe drop a sub and skip the commercials. There we go. Now we're getting these fans on. We're putting that tray back on the floor. On the floor. There we go. Now, one thing to note, I'm gonna pull mine out real fast because I cleaned it last time on stream, is we've got one of these little fun trays that just slides right out. It is a magnetic shield, basically the filter that is fantastic and keeps everything clean, and it slides just right in and out. It is so simple. It is so easy. I like it. Most the blue pulse that I've got going on, right? Like the cat and the ram are breathing. I'm very happy about it. Very happy about it. See.
So we'll probably start getting our power supply out of the box next, and then into our sleeved cables as well.
Sorry, Maddie asked that. Matt asked that. Should I get I didn't say nothing, Doc. There we go. The gold matches by hands and RAM. Oh, well, that actual sense there. Okay. The thing we're pulling out now is our power supply. Let's talk about our VGA, and this is going to be 1,000 watt Supernova 80 plus gold. It's a GT, and this is going to be fun because it's a very specific type of power supply unit.
This is a modular power supply. So the coolest thing about these, is what this customer has done. So modular power supplies come without the cables pre-soldered in. You can see these ports right here. This is where our cables will go. Big bundle of cables that come with the power supply, just like this in the box. However, what's special about these is you can get a custom sleeved cable kit that looks really nicely like this customer did. So a lot of black elements in the white fans. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cables out next and kind of show you all that.
All right, nice. So when it comes to cable mod kits, what's the big draw for those? I know why I got mine, but what's the big draw for those?
So this is purely just an aesthetic addition to your build. So it looks really nice. It's a nice finishing touch. If you're spending a lot of money on your build and you want to go the extra mile, get a custom sleeved cable kit. Doesn't have to be through Cable Mod. There's a whole bunch of different brands. We use Cable Mod a lot though. They're kind of the top one, but we've used EVGA as well. So getting into these, you can get all the different colors under the sun. I'm assuming this customer went with black and white because we have a black and white build, but they come in green, blue, red, orange, all sorts of different colors. So
and then solid colors.
Yeah, you can get them in solid colors as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get out the cables that we're going to use specifically for this build. There will be some extras that will go in the accessory bag in case the customer needs them. And then I'm also going to be installing the cable combs on these once we get these out. So we'll talk a little bit about that once I get there.
Cables. Okay, when we get there. First up, go back over to Stancil on the production with visually seeing while I wait for mine to finish testing and be delivered. Nice. Congratulations. And yes, I noticed that too. John. Now, I loved mine because they created the aesthetic that I wanted in there. And so I wanted to have a primarily all build on the inside. That's why we went with the... I got all white cable ties, but they look really great because that I'm going to let...
So these right here are our cable combs. I'll get them out of the bag. A couple more down the